Swadika, good morning and a very warm welcome to Newsline. We're broadcasting live on NBT, Radio Thailand FM 88 and also NBT World. It's Wednesday, November the 4th of 2015. I'm Cholapansa Narula. And now let's have a look at our first story in Thailand moves forward. Yesterday marked Bangkok's second day of registration for the Bike for Dad cycling event organized to commemorate His Majesty the King's 88th birthday anniversary on December 5th. The number of registrants has already reached 99,999 people in the capital. Participants who have successfully registered for the mass bike ride on December 11th will receive a shirt, pin, and wristband on November 28th and 29th at the National Stadium. Meanwhile, those who were unable to register in time can still ride their bikes next to the actual route. In Ubon Ratchathani province, participants came to register for the cycling event since early morning. Local authorities provided information and chairs for the public in a bid to facilitate the online registration process. In Phayao province, interested participants also showed up very early to register for the event, many choosing to register with authorities present in order to avoid making mistakes. At least 2,000 people have registered in the province. Meanwhile, in Saraburi, authorities experienced technical difficulties with the registration process and have asked interested participants to leave their documents with officials. Once the system resumes operation, authorities will register for the interested participants. Currently, at least 1,000 people have registered in the system. Let's take a look in Narathiwat. In Narathiwat, people continue to register for the event as well. Authorities have set the practice date for November 8th. Meanwhile, Interior Minister General Anupong Paujinda said preparations for the nationwide bike ride is proceeding smoothly in terms of route, safety, registration, and other related activities. A fair featuring OTOP products is being held at Klong Padung Krung Kasem near the Government House. Officiating at the opening ceremony was Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha, who said the event entitled OTOP to AEC was aimed at showcasing Thai products and Thailand's capability to compete in the world market. The event features quality products locally made in different parts of the country. In his opening remarks, he also urged Thai entrepreneurs to further improve the quality of their products by adopting innovation and technology. He also told them to create products that actually meet the demand of the market and also the needs of the consumers. After the opening ceremony, the Prime Minister visited various booths and purchased food and clothes for himself. The OTOP to AEC fair will take place until November 25th, 2015. The Cabinet has agreed to issue additional tax privileges for investors on top of those already provided by the Board of Investment, or BOI. Following the Cabinet meeting, Deputy Prime Minister for Economic Affairs, Somkit Chatusipitak, revealed that approval was given to measures to stimulate private investment and increase the country's competitive edge in the long run, as proposed by the Ministry of Finance. In cooperation with the BOI, the Finance Ministry is seeking to draw in more foreign investors by offering them 2 extra privileges to choose from. As elaborated by Finance Minister Apisak Tanpi Warawong, the first option will entitle investors to a tax deduction of twice as much of their investment spending. The second option, meanwhile, will provide an exemption from corporate income tax for 4 years for those who invest at least 70% of their capital between January 2014 and June 2016, and 3 years for those investing half of the capital within the same period. Meanwhile, Major General Wiraton Sukontapatipak, Deputy Government Spokesperson, said the Cabinet also approved an agreement to boost economic ties between Thailand and Bhutan.
The Cabinet ratified a draft agreement on trade and economic cooperation today between Thailand and Bhutan. The agreement covers several areas of cooperation, including trade and investment, tourism, health services, education, energy, logistics, and SMEs. This also includes an approval for a joint trade committee, which will be set up to review the implementation of this agreement.
Moving on to our next story, Deputy Prime Minister Somkit Chattopadhyay delivered a speech at the seminar Thailand-Sri Lanka Business Forum and presented a commemorative pin to the Socialist Republic of Sri Lankan President Maithripala Sirisena. They were welcomed by a joint committee of 3 private institutions, including the Federation of Thai Industries, Thailand Chamber of Commerce, and the Association of Thai Banks. There was a discussion on business matching between Thailand and Sri Lanka at Anantara Siam Hotel in Bangkok. To achieve cooperation and economic goals, Thailand and Sri Lanka will promote major products and industries of both sides, such as textiles, jewelry, and tea, becoming a partner in developing jewelry products for exporting to overseas markets, and increase partnership by extending cooperation to more countries so as to allow the 2 countries to achieve the target of increasing bilateral trade to $1 billion by the year 2016. Thailand has successfully hosted this year's Asia-Pacific Business Forum, attended by trade organizations and investment bodies from around the world. Minister of Foreign Affairs Don Paramat Vinay officiated at the event, which was organized by the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific in collaboration with the Trade and Industry Association of Singapore, the Pacific Islands Trade and Investment, and the Mekong Institute. The forum took place at the United Nations in Thailand with over 300 attendees and discussed regional cooperation in trade, investment, and sustainable development. The forum is seen by many countries as an important venue for exchanging information on regional development. Last year, the forum was attended by the President of Indonesia, the Prime Minister of Kazakhstan, and ministers from various nations. The National Reform Steering Assembly has been discussing the reform of mass communication, which is one of the 11 areas scheduled to go through a restructuring process. Former chairman of the National Reform Council Committee on Mass Communications and Information Technology Reform, Jumpon Radkamdi, addressed a meeting of the National Reform Steering Assembly, saying that media reform is one of the missions planned since the inception of the NRC. He said that the goals of media reform have been to ensure media freedom with ethics and accountability, the prevention of intervention, public education, and the people's involvement in creative communications. Mr. Jumpon stated that the reform should also lead to more choices of media while offering a greater sense of security for media people. Mr. Tarun Chayason, Deputy Director General of the Public Relations Department, welcomed Mr. Itaru Kataoka, Deputy Mayor of Hakodate, and 12 executive officers from Japan who visited the Public Relations Department, or PRD, and held talks to promote tourism in Hakodate. The purposes of Mr. Itaru's visit are to publicize tourist attractions in Hakodate province in Hokkaido, in Japan, and to discuss bilateral cooperation between Thailand and Japan, as well as to promote broadcast cultural programming in both countries. Hakodate is the 3rd largest province of Hokkaido, which has been developed to be economic center and the first international port of Japan. This year, Hakodate aims to increase the number of tourists by cooperating with the PRD to promote and broadcast tourism, and also strengthen the cooperation between Hakodate and the Public Relations Department. Mr. Itaru Takaoka invited the Thai people to visit Hakodate's tourist attractions, which are guaranteed by Michelin France. Mr. Tarun Chayason said that this is a result of the cooperation between the PRD and Hakodate to exchange and broadcast tourism as well as the culture of both countries. As for Thai tourism, the tourism-related sectors as well as the Tourist Police Division are joining hands to make Thailand an even safer tourist destination for the millions of visitors who come to Thailand every year. Kun Naak Rotanasuwan has a story.
The Royal Thai Police and the Tourist Police Division, whose officers assist tourists in various ways, are fully prepared to assure the safety of the millions of foreigners who both visit and reside in Thailand. As we are moving rapidly towards the emergence of ASEAN community, tourist confidence is as crucial as ever in order to boost the industry. Mr. Surachet Hakpand has said that the Tourist Police Division has been assigned to tighten safety and security measures at every tourist destination in Thailand and collaborate with related agencies, especially during festival season.
รวมถึงกระทรวงการท่องเที่ยวนะฮะและกีฬานะครับแต่ท่านดีว่าการกระทรวงการท่องเที่ยวและกีฬาแล้วก็
The Ministry of Tourism and Sports, along with the Tourist Police Division, have been cooperating for years in order to provide safety and make Thailand a top tourist destination in Asia. Towards the end of this year, many festivals such as Loi Krathong and New Year will attract many tourists to Thailand. Tourist police officers are ready to assist tourists in various ways, as well as to ensure that they will be safe while they are in the country.
Mr. Surachet added that English is the dominant language that is used internationally and has gained more importance in Thai tourism industry. But it's not the only language that officers are trained to speak in.
ตำรวจท่องเที่ยวเนี่ยนะฮะหนึ่งจะต้องมีความรู้ทาง
The Royal Thai Police has assigned tourist police to be able to communicate in other languages in order to interact with foreigners who visit our country. English is the main language that tourist police are practicing, as it is the most widely spoken, while other languages such as Korean, Chinese, and Japanese are slowly being adopted.
Successful tourism promotion helped greatly increase the number of foreign tourists to be as high as 70,000 tourists per day, and the number has continued to grow, which contributes significantly to the country's extensive economic growth.
And that's it for Thailand Moves Forward. We'll now take a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices. Newsline will return with ASEAN and beyond, plus other international news. Stay with us.
To maintain a strong nation, Thailand is promoting 12 core values for the good of the people. First among them, to uphold the 3 pillars, the nation, religion, and the monarchy.
Even if we don't see them, they are amongst us. And they're hungry. Slay your power-sucking monsters. Take their power away. Think when you plug.
Welcome to ASEAN, a community comprised of 10 countries, each with its unique culture and history, now unifying to bring added prosperity to the region. For centuries, each country remained independent, but now we are coming together to compete in the 21st century globalized world. ASEAN is bringing together more than 600 million citizens and a total land area of 4.4 million square kilometers, and is providing economic opportunities, trade, travel, and new educational possibilities. The combined GDP of all 10 ASEAN countries comes to a total of $2.4 trillion, which means the ASEAN entity ranks amongst the world's major economic powers. The future is here. Welcome to ASEAN, the community of opportunities. The Southeast Asia region is now becoming one.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. Thailand plans on turning itself into a rice trading hub of the ASEAN region after 2015, when the AEC is established. Rice is one of the major export goods of Thailand. However, concerns over Thai rice exports have been raised ahead of the upcoming formation of the ASEAN Economic Community, or AEC, at the end of 2015. Mr. Pisan Pongsapit, Deputy Secretary General of the National Bureau of Agricultural Commodity and Food Standards under the Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives, explains more about the advantages that Thailand would receive through ASEAN's trade liberalization.
I think the Thai rice have two advantages. The first one is the safety of Thai rice. Either like a chemical contamination or some other physical contamination, especially for the last issue on arsenic contamination that we have conducted the survey of the Thai rice by analysis of arsenic in the past 3-4 years, and we found that our rice got a very low arsenic contamination compared to other countries. And the second thing is the quality. We are very sure that our rice have a premium quality, especially some specific rice like homari rice. Other countries know it as a jasmine rice that have a very premium quality.
For the AEC, he said Thai farmers should be equipped with knowledge of the regional integration. Production efficiency should be improved, and farmers should have more time to adjust to market demands. Indonesia is one of the places in the world that faces frequent natural disasters, so the country's government is installing a warning system for the safety of the public. Panotsi Sinsap reports from Indonesia.
Indonesia is a gigantic archipelago that sits along the Ring of Fire. The United States Geological Survey has described the region as among the most seismically active zones in the world, and Indonesia has approximately 129 active volcanoes. As the country is comprised of so many islands, once the tectonic plates move, the country's citizens are also vulnerable to potential earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and even tsunamis. There are also other regular natural destruction occurrences like typhoons, landslides, and floods. Since Indonesia has experienced many catastrophes, the government established the National Agency for Disaster Management, or BNPB, since 2008 to inform, educate, and warn local residents about the possibility of natural disaster threats and can help in planning for emergency response activities. The agency's director was happy to explain more about this to NBT World.
Based on our data, so we have data, the recording for the some kind of disaster from 1815 to now. The majority disaster in Indonesia is hydrometeorological disaster. So like flood, like landslide, like typhoon or something. And this is a majority, about more than 80% in Indonesia. But this is very often disaster and not kill so many people compared to the tsunami or earthquake. So earthquake may be happening only every 100 years or 250 years, but it will kill more than 100,000 people or something like that. Like, you know, the 2004 tsunami in Aceh, so kill more than 300,000 people in Indonesia and also other countries. So we are working with the local government, working for national level, and the local level we have some disaster management authority for province level, and we have also disaster management authority for the district level. We have some program for educate the people. Example, for we are developing some cartoon book and cartoon book, and we spreading to the community, to school. The warning system we have here, so we have some mechanism. So if there is some earthquake, so we have 5 minutes after earthquake, so PMKG will send SMS to all the people in Indonesia. Not all people, but they are sent to BNPB, some other key agency, and also to media, so like television, radio. So after that, the television and radio will broadcast all the information. If there is some earthquake or some tsunami, so the siren will on, so people can alarm and can run away or can go to the safe place or something like that. And also we are building some shelter. So usually the people along the coast, so they don't have time to run away, so they go up to the shelter so they can save or something like that.
The system has helped evacuate and save hundreds of thousands of people on many occasions. Indonesia was selected as a successful example in tackling major disasters. However, despite successes, more warning systems and detection equipment need to be installed in various locations, as the equipment does not fully cover all areas. Such programs have helped Indonesia become safer in the event of natural disaster than ever before. For NBT World, I'm Bernard Sinsap in Jakarta, Indonesia.
Let's take a look at an update on the Russian plane crash. The team investigating the Russian airliner crash, led by Egypt and aided by experts from Russia, Airbus and Ireland, returned to the crash site. The Metrojet Airbus 321, carrying 224 passengers, most of them Russian holiday makers, back to St. Petersburg from the Sinai Red Sea resort of Sharm el-Sheikh, crashed into a mountainous area of Egypt's Sinai Peninsula on Saturday, shortly after losing radar contact near cruising altitude, killing all aboard. Mohammed Rami, spokesperson for Egypt's Civil Aviation Ministry, said there were no facts to substantiate assertions by Russian officials that the Russian airliner broke up in mid-air. However, he confirmed that no distress call had been received before the crash. This, along with the fact that the wreckage was scattered widely, has suggested a sudden breakup to many experts. Theories floated so far range from a missile attack or a bomb on board to a structural failure. Lily Aldridge revealed a $2 million bra 1 month ahead of Victoria's Secret runway show. The custom lingerie is fit with over 6,500 precious gems. The Moawad bra has diamonds, blue topaz, yellow sapphires, and pink quartz, all set in 18-karat gold brasserie, and was custom designed for Aldridge. The matching panties have over 100 diamonds and 400 other precious stones. The fantasy bra is a tradition with nearly 2 decades on the catwalk, previously worn by angels such as Tyra Banks, Adriana Lima, and Heidi Klum. While this fantasy bra is a bit on the cheap side compared to previous bras, valued at upwards of $12.5 million, it's still not an option for just anyone's closet. Aldridge will model the fantasy bra at December 8th, Victoria's Secret runway show. Not to be missed. And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. If you do have any suggestions or comments, please write to us. The email address is now appearing on your screen, newsline.nbt@gmail.com. We say goodbye today, showing you some lovely pictures of the Sydney Opera House sporting the country's rugby union colours ahead of the World Cup finals. I'm Cholapan Sanarula. Have a good one. Sawasdee ka.